Welcome to the Hot Butter Podcast.
Welcome to Hot Butter Podcast, episode number 8. I can't believe we're at number 8 already. It's pretty crazy.
I know it is.
Isn't that weird, man? I feel like we just started doing this and we're already at number 8. But this is our second consecutive podcast of the day. We just cut episode 7 and we're working on number 8. So we will pick a goofy name for this particular one once we figure out what we talk about and go from there. I am Brett, and with us today is Eric. Say hi, Eric.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Yes. I don't know where to start. I got 4 topics today to talk about, but I can't remember what your topics were. I got a really funny story. It might not be as funny for me to tell it today as when it happened last week. But as soon as it happened, I asked the guy, I was like, dude, can I use this story for the podcast? And he said, absolutely. So I think maybe we'll start with that if you're cool with it.
That sounds good.
Do you deal much with Craigslist?
I've sold a guitar on Craigslist, and I've tried to sell multiple things on there. Some of it hasn't, but I have successfully sold one item involving, the guy came over, emailed me, came over to my house, bought my guitar, played it, and it was a very good experience. But I was unsure of how well it was going to go because I'd never done anything like it. So that's my only experience with Craigslist. But it's been a good one. It was positive.
There was one guitar?
Yeah, it was like maybe a year ago. I just wanted to upgrade. I wanted a 7-string guitar, like my new metal heroes use. So I
yeah.
I was like, I want to sell this $800 and some guitar for $500. For me, when I start looking into my guitars, every couple months I start getting an inclination that I want something different or need something more. And that's when I think the gears start turning of me going, what can I sell to fund this? So that's how that worked out. I bought that the one guitar I bought that I sold. I know you're trying to tell a story, but the guitar that I sold, I remember we bought after we got our I think we got our money. We bought this house. We got like $8,000. Was it $8,000? We got some money from Obama for buying a new house. I remember that was the thing. And my wife was like, you know what? You can buy yourself a nice guitar. So I did. It was very nice. Until I realized that it was very nice for money towards something else, and I sold it. And I don't regret selling it, but man, I still wish I had it.
Yeah.
So that's my Craigslist story. But I've tried to sell a few things on there, and I've used it, and I've searched for things on there, and I've looked around. So I'm kind of familiar with the layout and what it's all about. So I'm definitely interested to hear what your story is.
No, Lauren and I have done a shitload of Craigslist activity. I mean, I've sold an acoustic guitar. We've sold 2 vehicles on Craigslist.
Wow,
we've bought furniture. We've sold furniture. Craigslist has been good to us, even as shitty as it has been to other people. Craigslist has been good to us. So I hate. There's a super negative connotation to Craigslist and how it's for hooligans and troublemakers and whatever. And I'm sure that happens, but it's been incredible for us. We've had a great experience with it. But the particular story that I'm going to tell is in regards to somebody else. And they're a friend of ours. It's the same friends who invited us over for Halloween at their parents' house in that rich neighborhood. They just sold their house and bought a new house very closer to us. So they've upgraded. They've got the same amount of kids that we do. Just like us, they needed a bigger house, and so they got one. And so they had one of those wooden play sets at their old house. You know, it had a swing and a slide and a tower and fucking whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they were going to leave it and just move into their new house and buy a new one. And so I might get in trouble for this, but I think the wife found one on Craigslist, and in doing that, sent the husband over to pick it up. And so he called me last Monday and said, my wife arranged for me last Sunday to go help him on Monday at lunchtime disassemble this playhouse, this playscape, and take it to the new house. And I said, yeah, man, I'm home. No big deal. I can do it. So at 12 noon, I met him at the church. We got in his truck. He's got this sweet, huge truck, and he had a trailer, and we were going to go pick up this playscape. And so the second I got in the car, he's like, I think this is going to be bad. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And he's like, I think it's a piece of shit. And I said, really? And he's like, yeah, I think he said, first of all, the board, the first board that's rotten on the thing is a board that you can't even. It's a size you can't even go to the Home Depot or Lowe's and buy. It was weird. It was some weird increment of inches, and it's just you just can't go to the store and buy it. It's something that's made specifically for these playhouses. And anyway, he's like that. So that's the first problem. And so we get to these people's houses, which is it's very close to us. It's right around the corner from where we both live. And we pull up, and it's me and him and his truck and this couple of helper dudes from the church that he goes to that had volunteered to help him move this thing. And so I thought, great. 2 other grown men who can help lift this thing. Shouldn't be too bad. So we get to the house. The wife comes out, and she introduces herself and tells us how we can get to the backyard. And so he drives his truck in the backyard, and we get back there, and he pays her the $100, and he's like, first of all, they were asking $250, and we talked them down to $100. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Nice. Should be worth it then.
Yeah.
Wrong. Fucking wrong. So we get back there, and he pays her the $100 before we even start messing with the thing, and we can't get it apart. It's so fucking rotten that the bolts holding it together are just spinning. Like, we can't even loosen a nut and a bolt to take the thing apart. It's this giant playscape that's rotten, and as we're touching it and messing with it, it's falling apart. And so we ripped off the monkey bar section and threw it over to the grass, and we're trying to figure out basically how we could just salvage the tower and get it to his house and then have him just fix it later. And so
yeah,
the whole time we're doing this, he's like, we should just take it to the dump. We should just take it to the fucking dump. Let this lady have $100. We'll just knock it down and throw it in the trailer and take it to the fucking dump. I hate this. This is bullshit. Yeah. This happens every time we try and be frugal. What the fuck? I'm so mad. This fucking sucks. The whole time. And so at some point, he calls his wife, and he's like, this was a terrible idea. We can't get the plaything down. It's bullshit. We're just going to put it in the trailer, and we're going to take it to the dump. I don't even want to take this to my house. And she's like, no, you got to ask for your money back. And so he's like, I'm not asking for my goddamn money back. We fucking destroyed this thing. Like, we've just destroyed the monkey bar and the swing set. It's laying in the grass. There's parts everywhere. There's wood splinters all over the grass. There's nuts and bolts from that section that have fallen. And he's like, I can't ask for my fucking money back. We just destroyed this lady's play swing set. And you think we're just going to get $100 back and to drive away like nothing ever happened? Well, anyway, the lady comes out of the house, and she's like, listen, I didn't think it was going to be this big of a deal. Here's your money back. Forget about it. Oh, and he was like, I can't just take your money. We destroyed this thing. It's not good. You'll never sell this thing again. It's junk now. And she's like, well, my grandkids could still sit at the picnic table portion of it. And I'm thinking to myself, this thing is barely standing up. What kind of grandma are you to let your kids sit in the picnic table underneath an overhang that could collapse and crush their little fragile skulls.
Oh boy!
But they hashed it out and ended up splitting the $100 to where she kept 50 of it, or she kept 40 of it to do any sort of repairs that needed to be done, and she gave him $60 back. And as they're hashing this out,
man.
the other two guys left. They like walked out to their car and stood there, and he and I were in the backyard, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, I can see that we're not taking this thing. So do I just leave, or do I go sit in the truck and do I leave, or do I wait and help him, like negotiate or whatever? And all I could think about was I should clean up. So I picked up every splinter of wood and I made a nice neat pile of it. And I picked up all the nuts and bolts and I made a nice neat pile. And I took the monkey bar handles and I stacked them up, and I took the wood that we ripped down and I put it in a little pile.
Yeah.
And I was like,
nice.
I'm just, figured I'd just make it a little organized for you before we left. But it was so fucking awkward to have to ask somebody for your money back. It was ridiculous.
After you destroyed their shit.
After we pulled a $8,000 or $10,000 pickup truck lifted with big huge tires and a trailer in the backyard and made these big ruts. And then we beat on your playscape for an hour and destroyed half of it, and then asked for your money back so that we could leave and go drink a beer and eat some tacos before we went home. Man, it was fucking awkward to have to ask for your money. I'm so glad that it wasn't me, that all I had to do was play cleanup.
Well, it's like you guys actually just paid $60, right? He ended up having to spend $60 or $40.
He paid $40.
So it's almost like you guys just paid $40 to go like destroy some shit just for fun. Like, hey, this is how much money we have. We like to go on to Craigslist, find some ridiculous sale, talk them down in price, destroy their shit, and barter the price for the money back. It's kind of what we do on Sundays. It's kind of our thing.
There's actually storefronts where you can go pay money, and they'll give you like a painter's outfit and some goggles and a bat and some gloves, and you can just go beat shit up. Like they'll let you break windows and break mirrors and use bash TVs, and it's to help you get your angst out. And it's a real thing, but that's basically what we did on a Monday.
Yep. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Ridiculous.
There's nothing wrong with that, I guess. But yes, it would definitely be very awkward. I'm a very non-confrontational person. I would have done the same thing. I would not have asked for my money back.
No.
I would have just dealt with it.
Yeah.
And that's how I am.
No, I agree.
Reference the story I told in episode 7 about getting hit in the face and going inside. I just don't like to.
Yeah.
I don't. That's just not me. Like if you know me, I don't like to go that route. And sometimes it kind of bites me in the ass when it comes to money or buying something. I kind of like, well, I got myself into this situation. It's over with.
No,
Some people will go fight tooth and nail, but
we fucked up because we didn't really investigate it before we paid the money, so it was our fault.
Yeah, I always look for pictures. I need to see images before I buy something used.
That's the problem. Visually, it looked like it was flawless because it had been freshly painted.
Yeah,
but the wood itself was completely rotten, and so that was where it tricked us.
Yeah, that one bit you, man. I got you guys, but you got a story to tell.
Exactly, and at least it wasn't me. So hey, before we go to your next topic, before we go to your next topic, I got some people that I work with listened to the podcast last week, and that somewhat embarrasses me and somewhat excites me. Last week, I assumed a accent based on a type of beer that Eric was drinking, and
Red Stripe. If you didn't listen to it,
it was Red Stripe, and it was an accent as though I were from the Islandsman. And I got an email from somebody who I work with who very plainly said, Red Stripe is made in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, in the old Rolling Rock Brewery. Period.
That's
Just
true.
saying.
That's true.
And my response to this person was, "Are you sending me this because of my island accent?" And he's like, "It's a common misconception." And I thought to myself, you didn't even tell me you were fucking listening. So I'm a little surprised, first of all, that you're even listening. And second of all, you're right. It is a common misconception because I had no fucking clue that Red Stripe was made in America, yet still had that island connotation. That still had that island reputation of it for it.
Well, I'm drinking one right now. Let me read you the label. First, on the left side of the Red Stripe, Jamaican style lager. So I guess it doesn't say that it is Jamaican. It says that it's Jamaican style lager.
Yeah.
On the other side, it says brewed and bottled by Red Stripe Beer Company, Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
On the back, it says, for over 80 years, Red Stripe has embodied the spirit, rhythm, and pulse of Jamaica and its people. So I guess it doesn't really give any kind of definition or acknowledgement to the fact that it is Jamaican. It just kind of like references that it is a Jamaican style beer and that they embody the spirit and rhythm of the pulse of Jamaica and its people. I don't know. I always thought that it was
this guy who shall be referred to as by his initials RJ. RJ informed me that I think it used to be a brewed in from the islands, but it no longer is, and he actually stocks it at his lake house. That is great to know, RJ. I appreciate you listening. And I look forward to more conversations that we may have together in regards to my my errors that I make in my assessment of what we're drinking. But I can tell you this. Today, I am drinking delicious Cigar City High Life. Have you ever had that before, Eric?
No, I've heard of it, though. I've definitely heard of that.
Cigar City is a brewery out of Florida, and it's out of Tampa, as a matter of fact. And they have an India Pale Ale called High Life, and it's pretty good. Pretty good. You can't get it up. You can't get it up there.
Nope. I've heard of.
Go ahead.
I've heard of it though. I've heard of it as like.
Adam really likes Cigar City. I actually purchased all of the Cigar City High Life from the liquor store near my house and brought it to Michigan last year to sell to somebody who had requested it, which is highly illegal and again, more self-incrimination.
Yeah, I've heard that from I think I probably heard it from Adam, but yeah, it's a beer company that we don't get up here, so I feel like the lesser known or available it is, the more sought after it is.
Yep.
I know a lot of people that are very into craft beer, and I mean for me, I don't know. I like it. I've been really into North Peak beers lately. That's what I'm doing right now. I've got a couple North Peaks down here, and the Red Stripe that my wife accidentally bought me because it looks like a North Peak bottle.
Yeah. But
craft beer it's a very cool thing, but it's at what point does it get so popular that it becomes like everybody's doing it? So
I think we're almost.
It's
there.
nice to it's nice to find a good brewery that makes good beer like Cigar City or North Peak, somebody that's been doing it for years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not to say that an upstart brewery can't exist, but somebody that's like, finally, we get our due, our company's getting bigger, as opposed to like, let's jump on the bandwagon. I mean, not that that's a bad thing, but it's nice to be able to support the people that have been there and fought for it, did it before it was a thing, and they did it for the love of it. They love to brew beer, and they made their own shit. Yeah, that's kind of like Cigar City. North Peak's been around since the 90s. A lot of the big breweries right now have been around for a long time. And those are the good ones. Those are and craft beer is great for sure.
So you sent me you sent 4 things over that you wanted to talk about. Which one do you want to do first?
I guess I'll touch on this first one. I got the website opened up. Now this is something I saw on Facebook the other day. Somebody had posted a like an image with some text on it, regarding the upcoming election here in Michigan. And I'll preface this by saying, I tried to read it today. I'm not entirely familiar with all the backstory involving this proposition, but I do think it's an interesting thing. Just regarding where people put their focus. For me, I put a lot of emphasis on humans. I would consider myself a humanist, meaning anything pertaining to or benefiting humans. That's kind of where I go with anything, like my decisions politically or just economically, or if it helps people, I'm usually for it for the most part. I don't go to a party left or right. I just want people to be taken care of, and I want people to be successful and happy and healthy, monetarily and physically. That's kind of where I go with things. So I don't have a problem with like vegetarians or anything like that. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But when you choose an animal over people, I kind of get a little suspicious of like your motivations.
Absolutely.
It kind of makes me think like, where do your allegiances lie? And the reason I'm bringing that up and prefacing it is, I saw on Facebook a picture of somebody saying they were from the Keep Michigan Wolves Protected group, which, hey, I'm all for nature. It's a very big part of the world. It's cool to be able to go to spots and see animals that have been, untampered with, and they just exist in their natural habitat. I'm fine with that. But there's a proposition on this year's, actually a couple of days. This website tells me there's 1 day left. I don't know too much about what's all on every one of these ballots this week. But there's a proposition here, and there's, like I said, there's a lot of backstory to it. But what it comes down to, what I took out of it is, they want to overturn the ability to hunt wolves in Michigan. They want the wolf hunting referendum is an attempt to overturn PA 520, and that is, you can. I think Snyder in like 2012 or 13 said you can hunt wolves. That was fine.
Sure.
And some people want to overturn that. There's both sides of it. Some people say it's it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. But part of me is like, man, I don't think I could side with the wolf, even though I know it doesn't look like there's any crazy stories that have happened here in Michigan. Like, why would we let a predator we're nice to the animals, but the animals don't know anything about us. If they were able to accelerate their numbers and breed, eventually they'll come close to homes and woods that people live in. I mean, Michigan's a pretty wooded area, and I'm sure you see a lot of stuff like this in Florida where you're like, they want all the gators dead, right?
Well,
that's like a thing. Like,
no, but there's a very specific hunting season for them.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like where I come from, it's like, I just saw that and I was like, I don't know if I could support that. I mean, I'm all for animals, but I don't know if I would prevent the hunting of them, because if you don't, what happens over years and years where they become, they'll eventually become predators. They're looking for something to eat, and they don't know that you voted for or against them. You know what I mean?
No, you made
that's kind of my.
You've kind of touched on it right there. So human beings have decided that they know what's right and what's wrong for animals. And I would agree that occasionally you need some sort of oversight when it comes to protecting wildlife. But what a lot of these fucking idiots don't understand is that if you don't have some sort of control, those animals don't know when to keep their dicks out of the females, and so they will reproduce to the point where it's too much. And so
yes,
it's a lot of animals. It's probably all animals that reproduce. If you don't have some sort of a hunting season, or if they don't get hit by cars, if you know what I mean, like if you don't kill some, whether it be for sport or whether it be for food, they will overpopulate, and then you're going to have a problem where the wolves or the coyotes or the fox are eating your fucking dogs or your cats or your chickens or your ducks, and then you're going to complain because the animals that you just voted to protect are killing your pets, which you consider to be your family members. So it's the same people. The same people that think you need to protect them are the same people who are going to complain when they're overpopulated. So I agree. It's hard. It's tricky because you want to preserve the world, right? Like, I don't think you're the type of person who says humans need to take over the world and there's no reason for us to preserve any sort of natural resources. I don't feel like you're that type of person, but I feel like you have enough common sense to say that there's a balance. We need to keep a balance. And I'm not prepared to say that the balance needs to start with limiting the amount of children you can have, because then I think you get into like this whole China, the whole you can have one type of child and that's it. But realistically, if we don't monitor the amount of human beings that are reproduced, the amount of animals that we can salvage, there has to be, it's got to be all give and no take at some point. So I don't want to get into that because I haven't formed an opinion on that yet, but like you said, it's hard to pick because I feel like certain animals need to be maintained in order to keep a healthy balance in this world. But I also feel like at some point you have to pick one or the other. So I don't have a great opinion on that, but I feel like some people are so super one way compared to the other way that they can't see the middle.
Yeah, I just think if you lose sight of, I mean, not to say that we're the dominant species, but if you lose,
we are.
You're right. If you lose sight of your own kind, I mean, okay, this is going to sound stupid, but if you anthropomorphize a wolf, and the wolf gets to vote on whether or not there's enough people in the world, I mean, like, they're gonna say, oh, let's let the wolves. I mean, they're gonna like do the same thing that humans should do, and they'll say, well, we're gonna make sure we're taken care of instead of we have
wolves aren't smart enough
desire to
protect humans. They're only smart enough to protect themselves.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what I think. I mean, when it comes to like a political thing, I don't tend to take a side, but I'll go for making sure people are taken care of, making sure they're making enough money to make a living wage and save up and take care of their families and feed their kids. Like that's where I go politically.
I do believe that it is our responsibility and our duty to make sure that we maintain a healthy balance. And so I don't think we should be able to wipe out the wolves, but I think we should be able to hunt them and then monitor their well-being so that there's that healthy balance. Because we're smart enough to figure that out. They're not. And so it's our job to do that.
Yeah, the DNR does a very good job of regulation. I mean, they know how many deer are out there. That's why they give tags out.
Yep.
Okay, you can take this many tags of does this year.
Yes.
You get $1 a year per person. They do a very good job of saying we need to keep this many in population so that there will be more for the future, but we can also eliminate some because at some point you don't want them overrunning the cities because then everybody's going to hit them with their cars. And also, from what I've heard, is they don't typically live past 5 years old anyways because just of environmental situations. They get hit by cars, they starve to death, and it's like, you got to go with
unprotected sex.
I feel like you got to cite. Yeah, I mean they're just out there living the dream. I mean they don't care.
All that wolf pussy, man.
Sex.
I don't know if you've ever banged a wolf pussy, but it is pretty.
I just think it's I just think it's an interesting thing that I didn't even know was on the ballot this year, and it's like
that's pretty crazy.
I don't think that's necessarily the most important thing that Michigan has to worry about this year is whether or not you can hunt or not hunt deer or wolves. I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in this state and country that are more important than making sure somebody takes a deer or a wolf out. So I don't know. I guess if you have any opinion either way on that, you can email us and
I'd like to hear some. I'd like to hear some opposing opinions on that, one way or the other, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think some of my topics and yours as well are perfectly suited to be conversational. I mean, we read them out about them on the next podcast. It's like, hey, we got some emails that are for this and against this, and that's what I like, a discussion. I like to hear both sides of it. Maybe you have a side of it that I don't necessarily get yet, and I'm open to that. But if you have any idea or you want to add to the to the debate, then that's definitely what we want to encourage here. So just something I thought was interesting that I saw throughout the week here that caught my attention.
Yeah, you know,
kind of made me go,
A side little tangent on that. I just want to be very clear about something. My mom made a comment while she was here. Aren't you afraid of saying something on your podcast that'll get you fired from your day job? And my answer was no. And I think maybe I answered before I thought. And so I want to be very clear about something. Eric and I are doing this podcast because this podcast is something that we want to do. And it's something that I think the format is appealing to us. So we have chosen to do a podcast that can occasionally touch upon a serious subject, but the majority of the time we're doing it for entertainment purposes. And so if we ever say anything that offends somebody of a particular belief, go fuck yourself, because I don't really give a shit. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, we don't. We're not doing this to be one-sided, super opinionated. We're doing it for entertainment, and so we're going to say things probably very frequently that strike a nerve or offend or come off as ignorant or arrogant or uninformed, and that's exactly what we want. We are doing this for entertainment purposes. We're not trying to be CNN or MSNBC or Fox News. Those are ridiculous. Those are horrible examples. But anyway, we
gross.
don't want to be the smartest people in the room. We're just doing this for fun. So if I ever say anything that comes off as offensive, good. If Eric ever says anything that comes off as offensive, good. We're doing this so that we entertain you and we make you want to communicate with us. We want to have some interaction between us and you. We're not doing this to be the smartest people in the room, because we are not. We're doing this for fun. And so, the fact that Eric just touched on something that has to do with voting is something that's very serious. But if we ever say anything that doesn't seem like we're sticking to the serious note, that's because we don't want to. And so if I ever say anything that's offensive, I'm sorry, but I'm not that sorry, because this is just for fun, and I don't really mean it. I love everybody. I don't hate anybody unless you hate me. We're just doing this for a good time. But in regards to what Eric just said, specifically for voting, this is something that I didn't send him, but I'm just going to touch on it very quickly. We got a flyer in our mail that says, "Don't throw away your vote. Your neighbors will know. It's public record." And on the back of that brochure, that flyer, it says, "Brett, me, why haven't you voted yet?" And it shows all of my neighbors, their address and their first and last name, and whether or not they voted in 2010, 2012, or 2014. And it's got 8 people on this thing. So all 8 of my neighbors are listed on this brochure, and it says whether or not we voted in the last 3 elections. And my wife was kind of upset about it, and I thought about it for a second, and I thought, oh, that's not right. But fact of the matter is, it is public record, and if anybody really wanted to look it up, they could find that information. They could find that information out. But I don't fucking care. Again, I was granted a right to vote when I became an American citizen. So when I squirted out of my mom's uterus, when I was cut out of my mother's uterus, I was granted the right to vote, which is the right of choice. And I chose to vote on those particular years that I voted. So I don't fucking care if you know whether or not I voted, because there's 8 other people on here, and 7 other people on here, and none of them voted in 2014. You know why? Because we haven't had it yet. So I don't know what your thoughts are on public record and people being able to search things that you've done in the past, but me personally, I paid to have my mugshot taken off of the internet. So I cared about that. But I really don't care if people know how I voted. What do you think about that?
Well, I guess I'll touch on the doing a podcast and saying things that might be taken as offensive. I think that's one thing that is wrong with a lot of things that we see in popular news and mainstream media, which I typically like to rail against because I just think it's so contrived and you're not really getting a full story. I think the most important thing is that you get a non-sided story and then you get non-sided conversation about it. And that's what's cool about podcasts is you don't have to worry about whether or not it's paid for or supported by one side or the other side. You can just listen to a conversation and agree and disagree.
Yeah.
And then that discourse is able to be had, like I said, by, hey, if you disagree, just email the show. Tell us you disagree, and we'll talk about it that way. I'm not really worried about saying something that will offend somebody because I think that's an old world idea. Like, oh, don't tell anybody who you voted for. Don't bring anything up that might ruffle some feathers. It's like that's kind of how we got fucked in the first place. Nobody wants to actually say what they want to say. So it's kind of come to the point where now you've got a whole bunch of people that are doing podcasts and doing their own thing and saying what they want to say. And a lot of people are, not a lot, there's probably still people that watch mainstream media, but a lot of people are jumping over to those things going, I just want to hear people talk to each other about things in their area and stories that happen. That's what I listen to them for. I want to hear some real stuff. So, like you said, I'm not really worried about offending somebody. If I do, then sorry, but I'm like you said, I'm not sorry because that's my opinion. And if we want to talk about it, I'm not the guy that's like, you're wrong, I'm right. It's like, you know what? If you have some information that I don't know yet, I can change my mind. I'm not against that.
That's right.
I changed my mind on so many different topics over the years. 5 years ago, I was a totally different person mentally than I am today. Things I would have, things I railed against 2 years ago are things I now go, you know what? I'm kind of on that side now because I'm not static. And I don't think anybody should be either, but that's how TV news presents itself. This is how we think. The other side's wrong. Not a really good way to go about it. So, as far as public record goes, I'm not against it either. I'm not really against having a public record. But like you said, you paid to have your mugshot taken down.
Yeah.
And that I don't blame you for that. I would have probably did the same thing because
so you know, it wasn't my decision. I was told to take it down.
By who?
My bride.
Huh?
My lovely bride.
Yeah, there you go. They do a lot of things that are probably correct.
Yeah,
they're usually they have a lot of insight.
They know better. Like, they really do.
Right. Yeah. So I guess that's where I stand. I don't worry about people thinking I'm wrong because I probably am a lot of the times, and I'd like to be corrected. I think that's important.
Yeah.
That's not something I'm afraid of. But you can't jump on somebody and be like, "Oh, you're wrong. That's not right." It's like, well, let's just talk about it, have a conversation. So that's
for sure
kind of where I am on that. So
that wasn't really that really wasn't something I wanted to talk about today. I want to do it just came up, but so I heard a commercial the other day as I was driving to one of my job sites, and it said 1 in 5 Americans will get the flu this year. And it also said that happens because 50% of Americans do not get the flu vaccine. And so I thought to myself, wait a minute, let me just do the math here. So 1 in 5 Americans is 20%, right?
Yes.
Okay, so 20% of Americans are going to get the flu this year. But only 20% of Americans are going to get the flu because 50% of Americans didn't get the flu. So 20% of the 50% of people that didn't get the flu vaccine are going to get the flu. So 20% of 50% are going to get the flu. But they also don't say that some of those 20% of people are going to get the flu because they got the flu vaccine. And so the point of the commercial was that we should all get the flu vaccine. But if you're telling me that if I take this statistic, 20% of the 50% of people who don't get a flu vaccine are going to get the flu, but a portion of that are people that get the flu because they got the flu vaccine, that is a horrible argument for getting vaccinated.
Yes.
Horrible. That number is so low.
Yeah, that's kind of an ignorant way to go about trying to get people to take a shot.
Yes.
That's a weird number. It's almost like it's designed to be misleading, and it sounds huge, but it's not huge. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, wow, I should probably get it.
It's almost like saying,
when you break that,
you probably aren't going to know anybody that gets the flu, but if you did, the chances are 50-50 that they got it from getting the vaccine.
And yeah, I mean, like you said, a lot of people will get that flu from their shot and spread the flu to somebody who maybe didn't get the shot or did from that vaccine.
And everybody always says they give you the dead cells, or they give you the dead vaccine, or they give you the dead cells of the vaccine in order to help you vaccinate yourself. Fuck that. You get the fucking flu because when you get the vaccine, your immune system gets compromised, and so it gets weary and tired, and it's fighting this dead virus that's inside your body, and so because of that, you get sick. And so if you're going to tell me that you can't get sick, you can't get the same sickness that they're giving you the vaccine from, you're wrong. You can't. And so you need to do your fucking research. And so if you're telling me that 20% to 50% of Americans get the fucking flu, and a portion of them are getting the flu because they got the shot, you ought to take your fucking commercial off the airs, because that is extremely bad marketing.
Yeah, that kind of brings me back to thinking that you're not getting a full picture on on what's marketed from certain sources.
Yeah,
because they won't tell you other information because it's not profitable for them to do so. Unfortunately, that money drives that financial market for pharmaceuticals, and
yep.
I mean, vaccines are very, very important to that bottom line, and you're not going to hear any, contradictory research to that, which is unfortunate because I think everybody should be given both sides of it, and then allowed to make their own choice, and allowed to be have everybody okay with that choice, and not be ridiculed because, oh, you're crazy, you didn't get it, you don't do it to your kids, you're crazy. It's like, come on. I mean, that's not really fair to people who have looked into it and made a decision on their own. Because I don't care either way. I mean, if you want to do something, do it. If you don't, that's fine too. But you can't come down on people for doing it, and not doing it.
Exactly.
There's numbers that are out there that go against what you've heard, and it's a shame that stuff isn't shown in an equal light as what you see on TV about everything. And it's just unfortunate. I don't think that they have, going back to my first point, I don't think they have an equal interest in people as they do with as money.
You're right. And you know what? That's another, and we talked about this before, we're not going to get into the whole vaccination topic on this one, because that is extremely opinionated topic, and we don't have enough time for that. We're not trying to get into that. No. We're not trying to share our opinions on that. But we just wanted to touch. I just heard that commercial, and the statistics blew me away because they were extremely ridiculous. And so I wanted to share those statistics because people are so uninformed. And so We don't want to spend a lot of time on the vaccination topic, but do your research, people. It will benefit you. You want to move on, Eric?
What's that?
Do you want to move on?
You want to say move on?
Yeah. Do you want to go on to one of your next topics?
Okay. Yeah, I just I didn't hear you a little bit. Just
Sorry.
so your phone is breaking up a little bit. I'm able to work with it, but just so you know, if there's anything I say what for, that's why. Just so
Say
people
what?
listening to I say what.
Say what?
I say what because A, I'm in the basement, and B, he's in Florida. So
Yeah, people
come on,
forget that.
telephone lines. So that's how this works. Brett's in Florida. I'm in Michigan in my basement. So by the power of technology, we come together and sound like we're sitting next to each other, staring into each other's eyes lovingly.
My phone is hot.
there's any
The
technological-
NSA must be listening.
That's what they say. Or
Yep.
I'm just a hot dude and I'm coming over the voice and your phone's getting bothered.
That is actually what it is. Yes.
All right, let me do this. I'll do.
Whoops.
I got a real short thing, and then I'll bounce into my other topic right from that.
We all know.
I said. On the
You said you
previous
have a real
podcast,
short thing, is what you said.
Well, I mean that's between me and the old lady. And,
But it's as
nobody on the internet.
It's as thick as a wheel of cheese.
short is purely relative to how satisfied the woman is, Brett.
That's right. You dropping loads. You made 2 babies with it. It obviously
That's right.
works.
Exactly. You know what? I got two children. I got
That's
2
right.
kids, dog. What's up?
Children's.
2 things. I got 2 things here coming up. I'll just do one of them and then another one back to back, and then you can
Okay.
jump into yours.
Okay, girl.
I saw something the other day. I mentioned it on a previous podcast that said, the Michigan highway deaths. I thought it was like a kind of a what the fuck thing.
Yeah.
Like what? Why do you need to be broadcasting that?
Yeah.
So I saw a. We got
I
Harper's
hear
down
kids.
Here. Oh, we got kids down here.
Oh, shit. I heard daddy, daddy.
Say hi, everybody. Come here, Harper. Do this for me, real quick. Say hot butter.
Hot butter.
There.
Yes, hot butter.
The hot butter podcast, right? You say hot butter.
Hot butter.
Yes.
Hot butter.
Say thanks, everybody.
Hey, buddy.
Say I'm gonna go color.
Thank you.
Color crew. Okay.
She's carrot now.
Are you eating a carrot?
Yeah.
Say I got a carrot.
I'm carrot.
Okay. Hot butter.
Hot butter.
Bye bye.
Perfect.
Bye, Harper. Go with mommy, okay? Go see Lincoln. I'll be up in a few.
That's cute. So cute.
There you go. You gotta roll. You gotta roll with the punches.
Well
Roll
done,
with the
sir.
punches.
Well
Anyways,
done.
thank you, Harper. There you go. You got the 2-year-old saying hot butter. Bye, Harper. There's a sign in Michigan. It counts up and down, or counts up. It's only going up. The highway deaths, and last I mentioned it was 705. Might have been last week's episode. Now we are at 722.
Holy
What's that? Why?
shit.
How has there been that many deaths in a week? And I haven't heard about them. But then again, I don't watch the news or read the newspaper. But man, I don't want to see that when I'm driving. I know we've talked about it. It's just like
Yeah, that's too
I guess
much.
it'll unfortunately be a morbid segment, but that's on a sign every day that I drive, and it's updated. Like tomorrow could say 724, and it's like fuck, 2 people died, and you're telling me because why? I know that can happen. So that's just
That was our weekly
Michigan.
Michigan death toll update.
Yeah, I mean it's a real bummer, and I apologize for people that have heard that and go, man, this guys are keeping it dark today. That's it. I'm gonna end it right there, and I'm gonna bring it up
Fuck.
to a very, very, very happy subject. I guess depending on where you stand. I was in Costco today, and I knew this was going to happen. I knew as soon as Halloween was over, Christmas time starts. Fuck
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. Fuck the Pilgrims, which
Obviously, fuck the Pilgrims.
take your side on whether or not Columbus had anything to do with finding the New World and how he did everything he did. But fuck Thanksgiving. Christmas is here. And I think Christmas is only here because it makes a shitload of money.
Oh,
Everybody.
yeah.
And that's
for
why
sure.
Christmas is here. If they could sell Christmas stuff on a loop, they would do it. Christmas
Yeah.
would be their every day of sale. So I was in Costco today. Besides having to wait in the very, very ill-placed pizza sample line right by the fucking door. Walk in there, and of course everybody's going to sample the pizza. And it's right by the fucking entrance. It just makes me so mad. Like, now I had to walk through the TV section to get around everybody going, let's try this pizza. Have you ever had pizza? Yeah, it tastes like pizza. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the little one by one square pizza. It's okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, as soon as you get past that, it's Christmas time. It's November 1st, and snowmen are for sale.
Jesus.
Christmas toys are out. I mean, everything. There's like the Christmas. We were there last week. Totally different setup. You wouldn't even think it was the same store.
So it's not
It's
just
Christmas
because you had some snow. It's because
everywhere.
you think the seasons have changed.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we'll give you Halloween. Okay, guys, we're going to give you Halloween. But as soon as that day is over, you better believe the snowmen are coming out. Christmas trees, snowmen, Christmas bulbs, tinsel, everything you could think of is right in your face from now on until December 26th.
Yeah.
And we went to Kohl's. I had to get a new jacket because I'm a guy who's I don't do jackets. I've always wanted just a hoodie and said let my body do what it's got to do. It's like giving my immune system a workout. My wife's like, you need a jacket, and I'm like, you know what? I got a feeling if this winter's like last winter, I'm definitely gonna need a warm jacket.
You're right. I do
went to
need a
Kohl's.
jacket.
Yeah, I give up the fight. I fought for a little bit, but so went to Kohl's. As soon as you walk in there, it's like Christmas music on the overhead speakers, or whatever.
I like Kohl's.
Oh man, I was like, I love Kohl's. How do you not like Kohl's? I mean, everything there.
Yeah.
Everything is there. Sweet coat there. I got a sweet coat. I mean, jeans there. Bought a pair of Levi's there. Why not? One-stop shop, baby.
Yep.
I'm all for that. But Christmas, and my wife keeps like the 20% coupons.
Oh, hell
We
yes.
just bank. We just bank, and she'll use the Kohl's credit card and pay it off right at the register. Like, I'll use your credit card and get your points or whatever, but I'm going to pay the bill, so I'm done paying. I mean, I'm going to pay you. So we do that.
Yeah.
Love
for
the Kohl's,
sure.
but Christmas music on. And I guess here's my. This brings me to my point. My stance on like Christmas and Christmas music. As much as I hate Christmas music, and not hate it, but you only hear the same songs over and over, recorded by different people.
Yeah.
I don't mind it only because I can't lie to you. It just kind of makes me feel like it makes me feel good.
Sure.
Yeah, you just kind of get
That's
that
why
like
they do it.
warms me up a little bit inside.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it makes me feel good. I mean, the holiday season, whether you believe or don't believe, I mean, fuck it, man. Everybody coming together, family coming together.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with it at all. And I hear that music and it's just like it makes you feel good. So I'm just curious what you thought about it.
That's
is it too soon on your end, or do you
Yeah,
think
it's way
okay?
too soon. It's way fucking too soon. It was too soon when they introduced pumpkin spice latte a month too early. It's always
Don't
too
even get me
soon.
started on the pumpkin spice.
I know. So
Yeah, I mean,
speaking of holidays and social media and marketing and advertising, did you see the story where Walmart on their website had an advertisement for fat girl costumes?
no.
Yeah, it was not politically correct. They straight up had a tab that you could click on that said fat girl costumes.
No, that was. It didn't even say like plus size. It just said
No,
fat
it
girl?
said fat girl costumes.
Holy shit!
Oh, that is beautiful. It is so amazing. But you wonder, you think to yourself, at some point during the day, one of their, I'm going to guess, contractual employees decided that he'd had enough. I'm going to make a statement today, and I'm going to make everybody talk about me. And he says, I'm going to change the tab that says plus size costumes to fat girl costumes. And then I'm going to quit. And I'm going to walk out this fucking shithole, and everyone's going to talk about me for the rest of the day. And it worked.
Oh shit! You know what I got? I mean, I pulled it up here. I pulled it up. As much as I've been talking shit about mainstream media, this is a CNN website, but it brought me to where I needed to be. And it says Walmart found itself sending apology tweet after apology tweet after Monday. The Twitterverse raked it over the coals for a major goof on its website. Yeah, the retail giant's site featured a Halloween category titled "Fat Girl Costume." Oh wow, that's fucking for real.
It's
That
for
is
real.
Fucking for real.
Come on, this podcast
Holy
is for
shit.
real. I wouldn't make shit up, would I?
Okay, here's what they said. Somebody said this is shameful. Obviously, a pic to their site, and then Walmart corporate Twitter verified account said, "This never should have been on our site. It is unacceptable, and we apologize. We worked quickly to remove this." Like, you don't have anybody that will edit that stuff.
Oh, the guy that edited
You
it
don't have
probably
anybody
did
that
it.
goes, "Look at this, though. We're talking about it."
Yeah.
That's why I think marketing is so fucked, because this is why they did it. There was somebody behind the scenes going, "Yeah, I don't care about people. I have a cold heart, and I'd like to see more traffic driven to our website. So I'm cool with the Fat Girl comment. Are you guys? Yeah, that's cool. Okay, let's go to lunch."
Yeah, there's probably a couple of douchebags who are doing a podcast who are going to talk about it in 3 days, and look at that, residuals. It's beautiful.
Dude, it's gross that they would do that, and it's gross to me that somebody would actually okay that, because as big as Walmart is, you mean to tell me they don't have somebody that edits that stuff?
Exactly.
Yeah, they do. And somebody said, "Fuck it, let's go for it."
Yep.
So that's where I stand on that. That's insane. Insane.
I love
So that's, but yeah, pumpkin spice is it's a weird thing. I know you mentioned it, but it's weird because what the fuck is pumpkin spice? It's cinnamon, nutmeg.
Exactly. It's cinnamon and nutmeg.
Why don't you just take a bite out of a pumpkin?
No, don't do that. You won't like
pour
it. You won't like it.
Pour my latte. You know what they should do is, like, here you go. You got tall, grande, venti, pumpkin. Just fucking hollow out a pumpkin. Pour my latte into the pumpkin, and I'll sip it out of that. There you go.
Yeah,
pumpkin spice.
but if you take a bite out of a pumpkin, you are going to regret it.
Oh, definitely.
For
Yeah,
sure.
you'll say, "Oh my gourd." Definitely.
Oh my gourd.
I did it. I went there.
gourd. That's
It's
perfect.
late in the night.
I like
I've been
that.
drinking beers. I'm going for the cheap laugh. Going for the cheap laugh. So
Hey, so your last,
no, it's
the last topic you have on your list today is pretty. It's pretty nerdy. But I'm gonna let you take it. So I'm not gonna give it away. It's pretty fucking nerdy.
I just want to know what you think about it. I don't have time to see movies as much as I used to.
Yeah.
There's some that I see mostly on Netflix is where I'm at these days. But Marvel just released their most recent, slate of movies that are going to be coming out in the next 2018, so
Yeah.
3 years.
Uh huh.
That is what they project. There's going to be a ton of these movies coming out.
I heard that. I heard it. I didn't read it, but I definitely heard somebody talk about this. As soon as I had kids, I stopped going to movies. So the whole going to see something in a theater thing, it doesn't work for me anymore. So I have no desire to stay on top of that. But I do enjoy a well put together or well thought out movie. I just don't have an opinion on Marvel's stuff.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just think it's like I've said before, a lot of things I see might not be necessarily humorous or like silly, but I see things from a sociological and psychological way. It's kind of my background in college, so I look at things like I see the changes in industries and in music and film. I see those things, and I talk about them. I mean, I don't know if it's good or bad or makes you laugh or makes you think, and I kind of go for both of them.
Yeah.
But man, like the swing towards comic book movies, I mean, the idea in terms of those stories, they're already essentially there. They don't have, there's not a lot of thought behind it, because I don't think a lot of people are spending the $40, $50 it takes to go see a movie.
I agree.
So they're going like, okay, we need money. We need to make money.
Yep.
This story's already been written. The characters are already there. Everything they wear is there. But I mean, like from 2016, they've got, let's see here. I mean, 2015's 3 movies. 2016, 5 Marvel movies. 2017, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies. 2018, 1, 2, 3, and then they've all the way out to 2019. They've got these movies.
That is pretty crazy.
But that's where the money is, and as far as I'm concerned, I guess I can't blame them. But at least they're kind of looking at it going, hey, man, these are making money. People dig this stuff, and they've kind of focused their efforts on it, whereas like a music industry is like, yeah, we know people like to stream music, but it's okay. We're just going to put out all this stuff on vinyl, and they'll buy that. Like, at least the movie industry is like, hey, we're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
So we're going to make a lot of money off these Marvel movies. And for me, the only one that I really, really dig, I just like the Iron Man character because he's a human. You know who he is. Everybody knows who he is. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, fuck it, I'm Iron Man. He says that in the first one. He's like, yeah, so I'm Iron Man, and that's it.
I mean, honestly,
I'm a superhero.
I could never hate on the concept that let's take this concept that's super successful and let's run it in the fucking ground. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I think because the longevity of a brand is so far gone these days that you can't suspect that something's going to last 50 years like Batman or Superman does. You've got to take what's successful to you now, and you got to suck it for all it's fucking worth, and you got to milk it for every fucking dollar, because the people are so creative these days that they're going to come up with something better. And if you don't, you're fucked. So I totally am on board with these people who take, like you said, they take this Marvel comic thing and these three superheroes and they fucking run them in. You know, they're not technically running them into the ground, but they're running them into the ground because they're using them for every fucking dollar they're worth. And then before you know it,
you
know, people are going to be burnt out. But hey, they made their money and they can move on, because you have to do that these days. Otherwise, someone's going to get the bigger, better, faster, stronger brand, and then you're done. So I'm cool with that, I think.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with it. The only part of me is like, I mean, probably a couple years ago, I've been like, but the art, it's not even a real movie. Like, I don't want to watch downer movies anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, why would I want to watch a downer movie? I mean, go to the movies to have fun. And I guess comic book movies and graphic novel themed movies are like the ultimate, like, it's not a real story. These people are dressed up, they've got superpowers. Just have fun. I mean, at the end of the day, I like that at least movies are taking a turn for the fun side of things.
For sure.
You know, just have fun. If you're going to spend the money, go out and have some fun. Don't go watch a movie that makes you leave and be like,
"Yep,
God, I wish that kid wouldn't have died." Like,
that was depressing.
Yeah,
fuck that.
Yeah, so I just think it's interesting in the swing of pop culture, and that all of a sudden what was nerdy is now cool, and these movies are becoming like, if you're an actor and you can get a comic book movie, fuck, dude. And you play that character 4 times in subsequent sequels, you're in. That's what you want. So I don't know. I just wanted to hear your take on it, and anybody else's take that is for or against these comic book movies, because it is a cool art form, and it's kind of cool to see them go to the screen. I don't have time to watch them.
I know.
It looks like from what I can see here, Hugh Jackman is really raking it in with these multiple Marvel Wolverine sequels, X-Men stuff. He's doing good.
He's doing just fine.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just something like I said. So I see things throughout my daily life that are like, interesting. Kind of cool to see something swinging that way. So
yeah, for sure. Hey, so this is my last topic for the night, and I think we'll wrap it up shortly thereafter. Okay. I saw an article recently where a football coach punched an opposing player, and I'm not going to quote the story because I don't give a fuck what happened, but it made me think back to when I played very highly competitive travel ice hockey, and so we were I think playing in the summers. So back then we played year round. There was no time off, so we played regular season, which was fall, early fall into early spring, and then we would play early spring into early fall, and then it was just a vicious cycle. And so we were in in summer leagues, and we were playing in Chicago. I was playing for a hockey team that was named after a pizza conglomerate, which I believe you also played for. right?
Yep.
And
Yes, I did for 1 year. Yes, 1 year. Oh man, was it Squirt AAA maybe? Yes, I definitely did play for them.
yeah, so we were playing summer leagues, and we were in Chicago, and there was I don't know why, but there was a particularly bad blood between that particular team, a couple of individuals on the team, and our team out of Metro Detroit. And I think the reason was there was an individual on that team who I will not name but can, who lived with us in Metro Detroit and played with our team for a long time, and then went back to Chicago to play with his boys because that's where he was from. But we were playing a summer game, and somebody checked somebody into the boards and broke a door. Okay, so something on the rink was broken, and in order to continue the game, had to be fixed because the door wouldn't shut. So we are away. We are in Chicago. We are the opposing team. We go to our locker room while they fix the door. The home team in Chicago stays. Some 50% of the kids go to the locker room. The other 50% stay on the bench and just play around on the ice. While that is happening, one of the Chicago kids, it's my opinion that it was the kid that used to play for our team, came over to our bench and peed into one of our water bottles. And so
Shit.
the game resumed. They made the repairs. The door was fixed. We began to play hockey again, and I am sitting on the bench, and the kid next to me grabs the water bottle to refresh himself, and he squirts it on his face. He takes the water bottle and he squirts the water all over his face to clean the sweat off, and in doing so says, "It's piss. It's fucking piss. It's fucking piss." And he starts freaking out. And he's throwing shit, and he's throwing his gloves off, and he's ripping his helmet off, and he's trying to wipe his face down. And and in the meantime, the opposing team, in the middle of play, decides that they're going to shoot the puck into our bench to fuck with us.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he just takes the puck and rifles it into the bench and makes everybody duck.
Fuck.
And so somebody that it never the story is going to end without it's not going to end in a fight. It's not going to end in a brawl. It's not going to end in anything terribly exciting, except that somebody on that team, who I think I know who it was, took a piss in our water bottle, and some kid on my team, who, as he sat next to me, squirted it all over his face and could taste it.
Oh man.
Did you ever know anybody to do anything like that, Eric? That's fucking crazy.
Oh man. Nothing like that. Nobody that I've ever known has pissed in a water bottle. Wow, that's
pretty hardcore, right?
unprecedented, man.
Like that's as
imagine
gangsta
somebody like the
as it
NHL did
gets.
that. Like
That's some hood rat
imagine
shit.
somebody
right
in the
there.
NHL did that. Like Zetterberg grabs a water bottle and it's like, this is fucking piss. And, I don't know. Joe Thornton's over there like, yeah, fuck you, man. I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew you'd like that.
Yeah.
I saw something. This is kind of related. When you said that, I just want to bring it up real quick. I saw something today. There was a footballer, which for those of you, I don't really watch English football or American football. English football is what I watch, so I follow soccer.
Yeah.
But there was a guy in Switzerland that got a 50-year ban
50 years?
from their league. Yeah, from their league because he kicked the ball at the ref
Holy
and sprayed him
shit.
with a water bottle.
That's a little excessive. 50 years is a little excessive.
I think so. Yeah, it says his new suspension means that he will be free to return to football. I don't know if it's like a FIFA thing, because FIFA governs everything, soccer, in the world. So I don't know. I don't know if it's overall 50 years in terms of his whole soccer career, but yeah, it says he will be able to return to football on June 5th, 2064, when he'll be 78.
Holy shit. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, crazy. I know exactly. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything that bad. I mean, I don't know. 50 years. Fuck. I just thought it was funny when you brought that up. I was like, oh shit,
that's a little
got
excessive.
A 50-year ban. I read that.
That's a little excessive.
I mean, Switzerland. If he plays in Switzerland, I mean, if you know soccer, that's not really one of your premier leagues in the world, but still, fucking 50 years. That's his career. He gets paid for it.
Yeah.
It's like firing me because I don't know. I don't know. I sprayed water at
farted on your kid.
Probably get fired for that though. I guess. Hey man, here's real quick before this is over. This happened at Kohl's today. I was looking at coats, and then my wife went to change our son's diaper. So Harper is into the stage where she does not want to be really carried or pushed around. She wants to walk.
Yeah.
Daddy, walk. Daddy, no, daddy, walk. Like that's how she is.
Sure.
Got to walk. So I kind of let her do her thing. Got to let him be somewhat independent.
Yeah.
So we're walking in the shoe department, and she's pointing at all the boxes, telling me all the colors, and I'm like, "Yep, that's red. Nope, it's green. Okay, green." There was somebody looking at shoes. She walks right by him and just rips a huge fart to the point where you're like, "Wow, that was fucking loud." I'm impressed. The girl that's in the aisle starts laughing, and I'm like, "Yeah, you know how the kids are." And then she looks back at me and goes, "Fart." Because she says fart. When she farts, she likes to call them out. I don't know. I just thought
I love it. Kids are amazing.
Definitely my kid.
Kids are
definitely
amazing.
my kid. But just like no disregard for anybody. Just rips one. Fart. Like, yeah, it was. Didn't care.
Oh, that's so funny.
So.
That is so funny. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Hot Butter Podcast.
Yep.
We recently have been, we've really been pushing for some interaction with anybody who's listened to our podcast. And so I'm going to reiterate that today. We would really like to get some emails. We'd really like to have a section or a segment of our podcast that is where I read or Eric reads emails from our listeners. And so if you've listened to a podcast or multiple podcasts and you have an opinion that you'd like to share, or if you have some feedback that you'd like to share, good or bad, we don't care. We're not going to be mad if it's ripping on us or if it's praising us or if it's suggestions or whatever. We just want to have some sort of interaction between us and people who might listen. And so we'd really appreciate it if you would email the show at the Facebook page, at Twitter at Hot Butter Pod. You can email me at postal postal.brett BRET at gmail.com. We would love to get some feedback from you guys, and it would help add a segment to the show. I think Eric would like to hear some shit too.
Oh yeah, I like interaction. I like other opinions. I like other ideas. I like to hear when we fucked up. I like to hear when we're agreed with.
Yeah,
I like all that stuff. That's kind of the point of this medium is that people do have a voice. I mean, we're not getting paid by anybody. We're not sponsored by any major corporations that want to have an agenda push
or minor.
So that's the idea. Well, I mean, corporation and I don't know. I would love it. Don't get me wrong, but we don't have to follow a format. We don't have to follow an agenda. So your opinions are just as good as ours.
Absolutely.
And we want to hear them, and we want to talk about them, and we want to incorporate them into the conversation. I mean, that's the fun part about it. That you can access the show.
Yeah.
And that you can change the course of a conversation. It's us two recording it right now, but that doesn't mean it can't be. Hey, remember that time we talked about so-and-so? well, I got a comment about that, and then we talk about it a little bit more. You can inject your own ideas into it, and that to me is fun. That's a cool way to make.
It'll make it more enjoyable for sure. We have a
I like hearing people's ideas.
Yeah, for sure. We have a website, hotbutterpodcast.com. From that website, you can access our iTunes download. You can access our RSS feed. You can access our Tumblr page. We have a PayPal button at the top of at the bottom of our homepage, and you can donate to the show. I mean, it's going to go right back into how Eric and I operate the show, our hosting fees, and our recording software and stuff like that. If you like what we're doing, and you want to kind of help us become better at what we're doing, we'd appreciate it. And there's a couple different tabs there based solely on how hard you'd like to make out with us, given the opportunity. The first one would be like a little. The second one would be, I think, a little bit of tongue over the shirt. And the third one would be backseat heavy grinding. And obviously, heavy grinding costs a little bit more. And so, if it's something if you think you might be interested in, we'd appreciate it. And it's going to go right back into the show and help us to create a better podcast for those of you that do listen. You got anything you want to add, Eric?
I think you covered most of it. I mean, anything that you can do to support the show would be great.
Yeah, and if you don't, that's okay
awesome.
too.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put a couple dollars in, I mean, it's not much. I mean, if you buy a Starbucks coffee every day, don't get a coffee for a day and donate your grande size coffee money to the show. If you enjoy it that much, we're definitely appreciative. But if you can't sacrifice your coffee price, then just share it on your Facebook page and tell your friends to listen to it.
Yeah, definitely.
And say there's two very attractive, well-minded, intelligent fathers doing a podcast together, and you should listen to it. Then I would appreciate that. That's just as cool as spending money on the show.
Yeah.
Anything that keeps us going, like Brett said in previous episodes, we'll do it whether or not 10 people listen or 100 people or 1,000, and if we get paid or we don't get paid, I mean, we'd like to be able to enhance the experience for the listeners. But if it stays the way it is right now, I'm definitely content with that. But I like sharing ideas with people, and the more people that hear it, the better. And I want their experience to be positive. Maybe it makes them think, maybe it makes them laugh, maybe they get a little enraged and they send us an email. I mean, just feel a range of emotion from the show is my goal. And if you want to support that, however you want to do that, money or share it on your social network, that's where I'm at. Just help the show however you can if you enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, we appreciate your support and the time you take listening to us.
Yeah, man. And so if you don't, we don't care if you don't like it. Just that's okay too. But we just we're gonna keep doing it, and because we enjoy it, and we hope that occasionally we will find that you find some enjoyment in what we're doing. But until next time, we'll put one of these out. Probably we'll probably put 2 episodes out a week. We'll probably do one in the beginning of the week, one on Thursday. We will probably have another voicemail from my Uncle Dwayne that comes out some point this week as well. So anyway, just keep a lookout. We will be promoting it via Facebook and Twitter, and that's about it. But we appreciate you listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Until then, Eric Hall in his sex slave cave over there where he has all his dildos and his whips.
That's it. That's me.
Yep. We'll talk to you next time.
Sounds good. Myself and who you heard earlier, my daughter, Harper, we thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed it.
Later.
Cheers.
Hop on it. 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 Bye-bye. Hop on it. Hop on it. Hop on it.